Once upon a time, people looked at the sea, but dared not approach it. The horizon line was a boundary for them. What lay beyond that line was unknown, and the unknown was terrifying. In the ancient world, the sea was not just water. The sea was a mystery, a danger, and for most people, a journey of no return. People believed that gigantic creatures lived beyond the horizon. There were dark forces that swallowed ships, and the end of the sea led to the end of the world. In such a world, a group of people decided to defy this fear. These people were not ordinary. They were warriors, they were heroes, and most importantly, they were people who could overcome their fears. Their goal was to achieve the impossible. According to a legend, in a far corner of the world, there was a treasure protected by the gods. This treasure was the golden fleece, and whoever brought this treasure would possess great power. But the problem was, the path to this treasure crossed unknown seas, and from those seas, no one had ever returned alive before. That's why this journey was not just a mission, it was also a journey to death. A special ship was built for this mission. This ship was called Argo. Argo was no ordinary ship. It was built by the best craftsmen of that era. Every plank was carefully selected. Every part was designed for durability. But it wasn't just its structure that made Argo special. What made it special was the people on board. Everyone who joined this ship were the strongest, bravest, and most skilled people of their time. But they had one thing in common. None of them knew what they would encounter. When the journey began, at first everything was calm. The sea was peaceful. The wind was blowing kindly. But this calm didn't last long. When they reached the open sea, everything changed. The sky darkened, the wind intensified, and the sea showed its true face. Giant waves tried to swallow the ship. Each wave struck as if it wanted to tear the ship apart. The crew was in a panic. They had never seen anything like it before. The sea was much stronger than they had imagined, but this was only the beginning. As the journey progressed, the dangers also increased. Unknown waters brought unknown threats. At night, strange sounds were heard coming from under the sea. Some thought it was sea creatures. Others said it was just a reflection of their fears. But no one was sure. One day, a passage they had never seen before appeared before them. This passage was narrow and deadly. Two giant rocks constantly collided with each other. Every ship that tried to pass through these rocks was shattered. This place was like a death gate. The crew stopped to continue or to turn back. But to turn back meant failure. And perhaps it meant death again. So they took the risk. They waited for the right moment. And just as the rocks parted, they spurred the ship forward. At that moment, time seemed to stand still. Everyone held their breath, and the Argo managed to pass through that death passage. But this victory was short-lived, because the journey was not yet over. Finally, they reached their destination. The golden fleece was real, and it was even more impressive than they had imagined. But taking it wasn't the hardest part. The real hard part was returning. Because they were tired now. They were afraid now. And now, they knew how merciless the sea could be. The return journey was harder than the outward journey. Food was running low. The water was almost gone. Some crew members had lost hope, but they continued because they had no other choice. Days turned into weeks, and finally, they saw land on the horizon. This wasn't just a return. This was a symbol of humanity overcoming its limits. This journey was not just told as a legend. It also became a story of humanity conquering its fears. Because on that day, a group of people proved fear doesn't stop you. If you confront it, it will propel you forward. And perhaps, if we can sail the oceans today, it is thanks to those first brave people.